August 18, 2025, and it will lead us to a date that the Jamaica Labour Party has won elections on before, a date that has been used before for general election, September 3rd, 2025. Of course, in blessed memory, September 3rd, 2020 was also an election day, on September 3rd, 2007 of blessed memory. And so we are called back to the polls on September 3rd, but not just for the parliamentary elections, George, but now we're seeing that there are 4 divisions across the KSMC, Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, that are also going to be settled on that day. The divisions are Chancery Hall, Olympic Gardens, Seavrad Gardens, and Denham Town. These constituencies or divisions, they are or would have been held by the Jamaica Labour Party, and of course both political parties, well, all political parties, because there are about 4 or 5 no, George, they will be sending up their candidates today, not just for the constituencies, the 63, but also for these 4 divisions. Now, independent candidates and representatives from minor parties are also expected to enter the races, and the presumptive candidates are to submit their nominations for their respective elections at the designated nomination centers today. Of course, Dave Vassar told us where he'd be today, and Big Rob will be somewhere else in Southeast St. Catherine, as long as they're not blocked from getting to the poll, getting to the nomination center. So we're joined by Director of Elections, Glasswell Brown, who will talk to us about the nomination day activities and, of course, the by-elections for the 4 divisions that I just listed. Good morning to you, Sir Brown.
Good morning to you both.
Good having you on this morning. So tell us what the process and procedure will look like today as these 4 divisions in the KSMC are added to the nomination roll in the constituencies that will have these elections.
The nomination centers, we have 63 nomination centers will be open today, 1 in each constituency across the island. It opens at 10 a.m. for the parliamentary election and it closes at 2 p.m. For the by-election, it opens at 12 to 2. So what will happen is that potential candidates will hand in their nomination form to the returning officer at a different location today. Those forms will have to be started for the parliamentary election. They have to be nominated by 10 registered electors within the constituency.
Yes.
And then the form requires, or the application requires the payment of a $15,000 nomination fee for the parliamentary elections. For the by-elections, the form with the nomination form would have to be signed, or the person has to be nominated by 6 electors, registered electors within the division. And in that case, they would pay a nomination fee of $3,000.
You know, one of the things I've always wondered, Director, morning to you again. I was saying to, before I even go to the question, I was saying to the team last week in one of our production meetings that it's a time of year when Glasswell Brown and Dana Harper and company, the phone never stops ringing, you know, and I wouldn't want to be you between now and September, say, not even September 3, no, but September 6, 7, immediately after, because you know how it goes, especially if the things are, if the election is tight. Anyway, sympathy is going out to you, but I know that you're up to it. I've always wondered, Director, how does the EOJ interrogate the information that is presented on a nomination form? How do you know that it's correct, what is declared by the prospective candidate?
Well, the questions are fairly simple. You know, the critical ones for us is that the nominees have to be on the voters list, and it's easy to check that. What the candidates will identify the nominees, get them to sign, and indicate to us the PD that they are registered in. And then we'll do the check. In most cases, we do a pre-check. Most of those forms would have been checked either Saturday or yesterday or sometime last week. So we have our system. The ROs have access to the voters list. They have access both on soft copy, etc., etc. so they can do the requisite check.
Right, because that's where I was going. Because I know that the political parties, well, at least the two major ones, they send you a complete list of those who you should expect to turn up for nomination on nomination day. So you're saying that your office does some pre-checks when they get those final lists.
Right, and if they did not come to us before on the day itself, we'll do the checks.
Yes.
But it takes a little bit longer. But the process, you have to complete the process.
Because that's where I was going next, because I was wondering, and these questions, of course, are informed by what some of our callers have raised during the call-in segment. And I said, well, I know that I'll speak to Mr. Brown at some point, so I'll save them for you. So is there ever enough time? Well, I mean, 10 to 2 is 10 to 2, but if there's something on the form that is not, the EOJ official is not certain of, is it common practice to say, well, you know, we can't accept your nomination, or do you give the time for the person to go and rectify what is not correct, to come back, and even if they come back after 2, given that they started the rectification process in the window, that you accept the nomination after 2? Explain that to me.
No, we don't. You have to hand it in by 2 p.m.
So everything has to be done in the window.
In the window.
Oh.
There's no flexibility for us to accept a nomination. Even if you come and then go back to get it corrected, you have to submit that form by 2 p.m.
So it's strict.
Strict.
I see. In terms of just tell us this morning, we have been talking about the JPP/JFM. We've been talking about the UIC, although I haven't heard from them formally in recent times. How many political parties do you have registered and expect to take nominations from today?
There are 4 registered political parties. Apart from the PNP and the JLP, there is the UIC, which you mentioned, and the JPP. Certainly, if we go by the individuals who have picked up nomination forms so far up to yesterday afternoon, we're looking from the JPP about 39 persons, potential candidates have picked up their form. From the UIC, I'm seeing here 7 so far, and independents so far have been 7. And so if you're looking close to 180, 179 potential persons will be seeking to be nominated today.
Yeah. 7, the JPP.
179.
Yeah, JPP did say to us that they had 62.
62.
No, yeah, because they said Central Manchester was outstanding.
Yeah.
So Director Brown is saying that based on what his information is, 30 odd of them have picked up forms already.
39.
39. Okay. Well, you are. But let me ask, as I was reading through the election reports that are attached to the final election report concerning the results, there's usually a section that the director writes a message. Well, you change the reporting forward, so that no longer exists. In terms of your own process for taking nominations and processing said nominations, how far has that come over time, you would say, to put you in a position now to have a process that is extreme, that is world class, that is seamless to understand for both the people working for you and the people looking to get themselves nominated?
Well, an interaction and the access to the data and information that is required and the guidance that is required, we have improved. Certainly, everybody who wants to be a part of the process to get nominated. That information is easily available. The support and the guidance is easily available to them. So I think we are in line. We have never had any major issue in terms of people being denied their access to the process, providing you do what is required under the law.
And on the issue of nationality, and that's something our listeners here have raised several times, and we won't get into names because you're not a political man, we're not carrying you there. But you're saying that if someone is nominated, you are satisfied about their nationality by the fact of them being on the voters list.
Right. The data declaration that's in a parliamentary exam that everybody has to make, but if we don't determine whether the declaration is correct or not, that's a matter that will be dealt with later by the courts. But it is expected that everybody will truthfully declare on their nationality in terms of if the particular section of the nomination form. There's a declaration that has to be made that you satisfy all the criteria for you to be so nominated. to contest the election. So that is there, but it's not for us, EOJ, ECJ, to determine on the day itself whether that declaration is correct.
All right, listeners, I hope you're listening, and don't call us and stress us later on about nationality. The Director of Elections has told you how the process works. Thank you this morning, Director. All the best to you and your team.
Just to say to you, I noticed you said 4 divisions. The nomination will be accepted today for 3. Right.
The civil right one is still up in the air.
Well, yeah, right. So no nomination formally accepted today for that, because there's a process that has not been completed.
Yes, even though there's a newspaper notice talking about the resignation of Delroy Williams, there's a process that the process still has further to go. So 3 of the 4 divisions announced you'll take nominations in, but not civil right gardens. That's correct.
That's correct.
There you go. Thank you this morning, sir. All the best.
And finally, sorry, if you allow me, just to appeal again to persons, if you have not yet picked up your ID card, visit upon our constituency and pick up that card, because on September 3, it will help the process to move much faster if you have your card.
There you go, sir. All the best.
Okay.
All right. Glasgow Brown, Director of Elections across Jamaica, comes up now.